Welcome to the nexus of existence, the cradle of creation. Here, the very foundations of reality are laid bare, a scorched landscape of floating obsidian pillars, weeping nebulas, and the echoing whispers of dead stars. It is a place where space is fluid and time is a flickering candle flame. Today, we witness a collision of paradigms. On one side, we have Quetzalcoatl, the plumed serpent, the breath of life, the sovereign of wind and wisdom, a deity who shaped the heavens and gifted humanity with the spark of civilization. On the other side, we have Ares, the blood-drenched, the god of the chaotic carnage of war, the personification of the brutal, visceral thrill of slaughter. One seeks to cultivate, the other seeks to consume. One brings the light of understanding, the other brings the crimson shadow of the sword. The air grows heavy with the scent of ozone and iron. The cosmos holds its breath.
I look upon you, son of Zeus, and I see only the hunger of a starving animal. You define yourself by what you destroy, yet destruction is but a fleeting act. I am the cycle of the seasons, the wind that carries the seed, and the enlightenment that raises the mortal mind above the muck of instinct. Your throne is built upon the broken bodies of men, while mine is woven from the gold of the sun and the turquoise of the sea. You are a footnote in the history of chaos, whereas I am the story of creation itself. Why do you insist on staining this sacred ground with your primitive rage?
Spare me your philosophical vanity, Snake. You talk of cycles and seeds, but history is not written in the wind, it is written in the blood that pools beneath the sand. Your wisdom is a gilded cage that makes men weak, soft, and fearful of the glorious flash of blades. I am the heartbeat of every soldier who finds his strength in the face of death. I do not need to create, for I find perfection in the inevitable ruin of all things. Your feathers are beautiful, but they will burn just as easily as the skin of any mortal when my spear pierces your vanity. Prepare to bleed, god of the air. Let us see if your wisdom can deflect the blade forged in the fires of hate.
The silence breaks. Ares lunges, his movement a blurred strike of pure kinetic violence. His spear, a relic of 1,000 battlefields, seeks the serpent's throat. Quetzalcoatl does not retreat. Instead, he breathes, and the very atmosphere crystallizes. The wind becomes a wall of gale-force pressure, slowing the god of war. With a flick of his iridescent wings, the plumed serpent rises, ascending into the ethereal heights of the ruins. Ares roars, his voice vibrating through the obsidian floor, and he leaps into the sky, tethered by a gravity of his own making, his eyes glowing with the manic fervor of total war.
Come down and face the fire. You hide in the clouds like a frightened bird, but I am the storm that levels forests. There is no shelter from the fury of the blade.
Ares slams his shield against a floating pillar, shattering it into a million shards that rain down like meteors. Quetzalcoatl weaves through the debris with the grace of a river current, his serpent body undulating through the impossible geometry of the dimension. He opens his maw, and instead of fire, he releases the breath of creation, a shimmering, prismatic mist that rewrites the physical properties of the air itself. The shards of the pillar turn into swarms of butterflies, turning the lethal projectile into a harmless flutter of beauty.
You see only the spear and the shield, Ares. You are blind to the tapestry. You strike at the thread, thinking you can unravel the weave, but I am the loom. To fight me is to fight the nature of existence, and you are far too small to contend with the infinite. Witness the weight of knowledge.
Quetzalcoatl descends, his coils wrapping around the very fabric of space, pulling the dimension tighter. He manifests the aspect of the morning star, a searing, white-hot light that blinds the senses. Ares staggers, his roar turning into a snarl of frustration. He swings his sword in blind fury, slicing through the light, but each strike only fuels the serpent. Quetzalcoatl is not fighting with physical force, he is fighting with the concept of order. He traps Ares in a loop of his own aggression, making the god of war strike at his own shadow, over and over, until the sheer exhaustion of pointless exertion begins to weigh upon the Olympian.
This is a trick, a coward's ploy. You cannot stand the touch of iron. Stop this sorcery and face me in a true trial of strength. I am the bane of armies, I have toppled empires, and I will not be subdued by a gilded lizard.
Ares channels his divine essence, a jagged aura of blood-red energy that burns away the prismatic mist. He forces his way through the light, his muscles bulging as he tears through the reality Quetzalcoatl created. He is a force of nature, indomitable, cruel, and relentless. He reaches the serpent and delivers a blow that should have shattered mountains, but it hits the scales of Quetzalcoatl and rings out like a bell across the void. The plumed serpent stares at it, his golden eyes filled not with malice, but with a profound, terrifying pity.
You are a child throwing a tantrum against the tide. You seek to prove your superiority through dominance, But true power is not the ability to destroy. It is the ability to sustain. Your domain is narrow, Aries. You are but a single note in a symphony you refuse to hear. The history of the universe does not remember the carnage, it remembers the architecture of the stars. I have seen countless worlds rise and fall, and those that worship the spear always vanish, while those that cherish the wind, the sun, and the soul endure.
Quetzalcoatl wraps his coils around Aries, not to crush, but to bind. The serpent scales glow with a soft, iridescent light, dampening the rage that sustains the Olympian. The blood-red aura flickers and fades. Aries struggles, his voice raspy, his strength being drained into the infinite reservoir of the serpent's wisdom. He realizes, too late, that he is fighting an entity that has existed before the concepts of victory and defeat were even defined. He is being unmade, not by force, but by the overwhelming imposition of a superior consciousness.
I do not yield to the light.
The struggle ceases. Aries is suspended in the center of the cradle, motionless, his spear clattering to the obsidian floor, turning to dust as it touches the ground. The god of war is not killed, for he is a primordial aspect of the human condition, but he is neutralized, trapped in a moment of eternal reflection, forced to contemplate the futility of his own existence under the watchful gaze of the serpent. Quetzalcoatl unfolds his majestic wings, filling the cradle with the soft, warm light of a new dawn. He has proven his point. Order, wisdom, and the cycle of creation are the foundation of all that is. The battle is over, and the plumed serpent remains as the architect of the future.
Rest now, Aries. When you wake, perhaps you will see the world not as a battlefield, but as a garden. Until then, the wind shall keep your silence.
In this clash of titans, we see the triumph of the philosophical over the tactical. While Aries is undeniably a god of raw, overwhelming power, he lacks the scope to deal with a deity who exists on a cosmic, foundational level. Quetzalcoatl is a creator, a teacher, and a shaper of reality. His ability to manipulate the environment and impose order upon chaos gives him the edge in a fight that transcends mere physical endurance. Aries is a hammer, but Quetzalcoatl is the world the hammer is trying to break. And when the hammer breaks itself against the world, there can be only one victor. If you enjoyed this epic showdown of mythic proportions and want to see more gods and legends collide in the arena of the ancients, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Help us grow our pantheon of followers and ring the bell to stay notified of our next grand battle. Who should fight next? Let us know in the comments below. Witness the tactical ingenuity of the plumed serpent as he challenges the primal, chaotic force of the Olympian. Who will emerge as the true master of the cosmos when wisdom confronts unbridled carnage? Join us for an epic, cinematic journey through mythology. Experience the thrill of a fight that shakes the very foundations of existence. With stunning narrative descriptions and an in-depth analysis of divine power, this is the final word on who would reign supreme in a battle of gods.